Hi guys, I'm Dr. Jenny White, a dentist in Sarasota, Florida, and her fearless patient Susan with our podcast, Open Wide, Unfiltered Opinions between a dentist and her patient. Over the past 25 years or so, I've been sitting in a little room talking to myself all day, and I've gained a lot of wisdom through that process, which I want to share with you. We hope our podcast casts optimism and fearlessness to you so you can rise to the top, stay at the top, and dream bigger than you've ever imagined. So on today's podcast, the soup du jour is... Baby. Okay, we're talking about faith and how it fits into our daily lives. Susan, are you happy with this topic?
Yes, I sure am.
Goody. Okay. Now, if you thought I was going to take you to church, you're wrong. Although I am a God-fearing Christian and I'm all for church, which was true. I was raised in the South after all. We had fried chicken, potato salad, and we swam at the pool every Sunday. That was a great Sunday if you ask me. But I'm bringing in a different angle here. I'm bringing in one of my cornerstones for life for this conversation, Napoleon Hill. He wrote the Think and Grow Rich podcast. He wrote the Think and Grow Rich book in 1937 at the age of 54, which is really young, I think. And while I was researching him, I was completely unaware that he passed in 1970. Everybody thinks he had Parkinson's, and that doesn't seem that long ago. He was born in Virginia, which is a little history lesson here. It's close to West Virginia, but it's not West Virginia. It's Virginia. He lost his mother. He had a troubled youth. He had a difficult relationship with his father. But he studied over 100 wealthy people, Andrew Carnegie, Henry Ford, etc., to develop his philosophy of achievement. The gist of his writing is that anything you believe, you can achieve. Susan, have you heard of Napoleon Hill?
Yes, I have. And just recently, actually, I read his book, even though it's been in publication for some time. Did you know he was married 5 times?
Wow.
So money isn't the only thing that was growing from the...
Napoleon.
No, but actually, it's a good book. I would encourage people to read it.
So I want to read a little poem from the book that is the opposite of faith, according to Napoleon. It's negative thinking. Boo. If you think you are beaten, you are. If you think you dare not, you don't. If you like to win, but you think you can't, it is almost certain you won't. If you think you'll lose, you're lost. For out in the world we find success begins with a fellow's will. It's all in the state of mind. Life's battles don't always go to the stronger or faster man, but sooner or later, the man who wins is the man who thinks he can. I love that. It really sets the stage here. So back to Napoleon, who was married 5 times. He says, faith is, and I love this, faith is the head chemist of the mind. What does that make you think of when you hear that? Faith is the head chemist of the mind.
It's so true.
For me, the brain is a total science project, and it's like a science project contained in a tight cinder block of sorts. And I like the idea of having a head chemist. Speaking of having a head chemist and great chemistry, Susan, what do you say we mix up a good cocktail of the podcast and wet our whistle?
Okay, before we do that, though, I just want to give a big shout out to the 105th anniversary of the 19th Amendment, which happened in 1920, this week in 1920.
Oh.
Yeah, so big shout out to that. And women were able to vote in the first presidential election in 1920 when Warren Harding was elected. And 36% of women showed up, which I think is amazing.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and speaking of faith, though, these women, when we all finally got the 19th Amendment ratified, it was 70 years in the making. So that takes a lot of faith that you got to keep pressing on and pressing on and pressing on and believing that it will come true. So I have a drink. Okay, so the drink of the podcast, the name of it is Blind Faith, in keeping with our subject today. And we may need blind faith to drink it because it's got 1.5 ounces of rum, 3/4 of an ounce of grape juice. Actually, I substituted orange juice because I didn't have grape juice. Half an ounce of ginger liqueur, 1/2 ounce of mango syrup, and 1.5 ounces of ginger beer. Cheers. Here's to faith.
Faith. Here's to cultivating, embracing.
Not bad. Got a little zing to it.
That's nice.
Yeah.
It's funny when you have to give it a minute in order to formulate your words on how you describe it. I think that describes
Blind
it.
faith. That's the name of it.
I like it. Thank
Yeah,
you, Susan.
Okay.
So we have faith, we have the thoughts that we think, we have the subconscious mind, and we have infinite intelligence, whatever you want to call that. And they all work together when you have faith. Faith is a state of mind which may be created by affirmation or repeated instructions to the subconscious. It's a psychological state, a belief in yourself and your ability to achieve a definite goal. True story. I used to do the stair climber at the gym. I don't even know if they have stair climbers anymore. And I would climb, and I would over and over, I would say to myself, all I need is within me now. I learned that from somewhere, and I don't remember where, but I would say it over and over as I climbed, thinking that not only would I have the energy to get through the stair climber, but it would infuse my day. And, I don't need to search for anything. I've got it all within me. So sort of an affirmation that I used to do. I'm going to give you, Susan, an example of what I'm talking about. Maybe you have one that you could share too regarding faith and how it works in my life. I have faith that, as everyone knows, I'm a dentist. And I work with dental specialists all the time. And I have always had faith that their offices, their staff, the doctor will treat my patients every time I send someone for an evaluation or treatment with the best of care. And because I believe this to be true for my entire career, it's really embedded in my subconscious mind. And because it's in my subconscious mind, it's as if the universe knows that it's also true. So when the specialists call me regarding, X, Y, or Z with a patient, it's always a positive call every time. I don't have bad phone calls with my specialists that I work with. And if there's a problem with the patient regarding the treatment didn't go the way it should, they have already figured out a roundabout as to how to conquer that issue. And we discussed that. So I don't know. I'm lucky to work with the people that I work with here. But maybe you have an example of how faith in your life kind of works its magic.
Yeah. I want to build on something you just said, which is that we talk about this a lot in podcasts, that if you believe it, it will come true. And that's the essence of Napoleon Hill's book, of course. And I 100% use that methodology in my day-to-day life. I have this expression, I'm sure I picked it up from someplace else. I don't think it's 100% attributable to me, but leap and the net will find you. And I'm a big believer that when you just don't know what to do, take the leap. And the net or a net or some net is going to find you somewhere along the way. And I just really believe that to be wholeheartedly true. I found this article where it says 5 ways to take a leap of faith. And I'm just going to read them real quick. The first is set your intention. Your intention is your compass. It's not an anchor. It's just a compass to direct you and to orient you. And you get really clear about the path that you want to go. And then all of a sudden it becomes paved for you. Surrender to the outcome. It's number 2. This takes courage. The destination isn't yours to decide. How you show up there is often how you conduct yourself to the universe, right? So surrender to what the outcome is. The universe will always get you to where you want to be, I believe, 100%. Look for signs and synchronicities. This is when you see a sign that you know you're being guided in the right direction, right? So I don't know what that could possibly be, but if you decide you want to buy a new house or something, and all of a sudden there's the house that you want to buy right in front of you or whatever it might be. Jump before you're ready. This is this point about leap and the net will find you. There's no such thing as being ready when you're doing a leap of faith. You just got to do it, and it will always turn out in a good way for you. And then you have to trust the system. Faith is all about trusting and believing. And so those are the 5 steps to taking leaps of faith.
And it's sort of a repetitive theme. Napoleon Hill talking about what he was talking about and your 5 steps, they kind of all go together. I love the leap and have faith part. And that's what we kind of did on the podcast.
not kind of did, definitely did on the podcast.
So here we are.
I'm not sure the net has found us yet, but so we're still in a free fall here. But yeah, that's exactly right. No, that's a very good example.
One,
Yeah.
2, 3, go.
Yeah.
And I remember when we were in the studio, Heather, one of the gals that works here, she said, do you want to spend some time going over yada, 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 or putting these things on your ears? And we were just like, nope, we're just ready to go.
And she's like, yeah, good luck, ladies.
Anyway, I love that. I love that. It's called, what do they say? Fire for measure twice, cut once.
Yeah.
Well, this is sort of cut and then measure later.
Yeah.
I like that. I also think that having faith allows me to handle rejection, disappointments, and negative news better. I can get back up quicker. I don't beat myself to a pulp anymore. And I have faith that it'll get better or get back to whatever the vision was for myself. I can give you an example of this. I remember when I was opening my first dental office years ago, and I needed to go to the bank to get a loan. I did not know what any banking terms meant. I did not know amortization. I didn't know interest. I knew Zippo, right? So I go into a bank, I lay out my presentation. I then kind of looked at me and said, no.
And then you offered free root canals, and there you were. You had to practice. You had the money.
I offered them all free dentures.
Yeah.
They didn't take it. No, I was just kidding. So I then took myself and I went to banks that were outside of the geographic location where I wanted to be. I got on the internet. I learned all the words. I studied. I put together a better presentation. I practiced at these other banks that I knew I'd never use. And then I went to the bank here in town.
Good for you.
Bingo, I got myself rolling. So I was a determined person because of faith and hard work, but faith. It took courage, determination, and a heck of a lot of faith in myself. So I also can choose to believe what's right as well as what is wrong. So when it comes to choosing wrong, I think bad things happen to us. And as Napoleon Hill suggests in his book, faith is a state of mind that may be induced by self-suggestion. So you don't have to feel like it's a road to nowhere when somebody says have faith. It just means have faith in yourself. Auto-suggests things that you want to see for yourself. Any comments on this, Susan, so far?
No, I was thinking about where faith, sort of first started, where it first originated from, an early man, and of course it's tied to religion, right? And the organization of people to provide some sort of a structure and a common belief system. And that's sort of where I think the human brain evolved to get its head around. This concept of faith. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So anyway,
well, and I also believe in prayer. I believe in religion, and when you combine the Napoleon Hill kind of faith with the prayer religion kind of faith, I think that's when true miracles happen.
Yeah, except I think too much prayer and too much faith can actually bog you down because you buy into the construct of whatever that faith is, right? And so did you grow up Baptist? What did you grow up?
So I grew up Baptist, and then I took a stint as an atheist because I hated Baptists.
Right.
And then I went on a Catholic mission trip, and then I learned about Buddhism. I've been all over the board.
Oh, okay. So do you practice a religion now, or do you?
I go to church. I will go to church at mainly the big holidays. I don't go daily.
Yeah.
But I do read the Bible. I have one extremely God-fearing friend out in California, and we talk about religion and God and read Bible verses together and pray together and things like that. But I wouldn't say I go to this church every Sunday.
Okay.
No.
Right. Yeah. But my point was going to be that I think sometimes religion can bog you down in this sort of set of standards that are expected, and you can't get out of it. You can't think beyond it, right? That they don't believe in, drinking or dancing or, gay and lesbian issues. It can get really, really strident, and I think that's bad.
Well, and I think for me, that's why I did Baptist. I didn't have a choice. That's what was my childhood was. and then I went atheist, and then I went Catholic, and then I went Buddhist. I think I kind of blend whatever works for me
I think that's
and
great,
feels
actually.
good
Yeah.
out of all of them.
Yeah.
So I don't want to, and I don't think it's great to pigeonhole. Some people are pigeonholed, and that's cool. That works for you. It didn't work for me.
Yeah.
So I had to take 29 of them and blend them together.
I think that's actually really healthy. I'm arguing against pigeonhole. Let me just say that in Islam, faith manifests as sincere belief in the heart, affirmation on the tongue, and good deeds performed by the limbs.
Can you say that again?
Yeah, it's what Islam considered to be faith. Faith manifests as sincere belief in the heart, affirmation on the tongue, and good deeds performed by the limbs.
Agree.
Isn't that great?
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. I
That's
don't
all
know.
we have to
I
say
mean,
about
I don't
that.
know where we go from there other than we have a little bit more of the
There we
cocktail.
go. But I mean, it sums it up, doesn't it? About what we're
It really
talking about.
does. It really does. It's like, yeah, it just. Well, I think. I also think, we have spoken in other shows about writing things down that we're looking for, sort of having a vision board, but putting the little phrases that, where you need a little more faith in your life, taping it to your bathroom mirror. And it's funny, when I was coming up with that concept and for this show, I thought to myself, I remember when I was in a 1-bedroom, 1-bath, and in my bathroom, I had taped all these crazy, some of them were crazy things that I needed help
Yeah.
with or wanted
Yeah.
God
You
to
were trying
help
to
me with or
manifest.
whatnot.
Right.
But anytime anyone came over to my 1-bedroom, 1-bath, I had to undo all the tape. So,
Oh.
underneath the sink where those little doors
Right.
open up, I would take all my little tape off the mirror and put it down underneath all the
Oh,
drawer. I didn't want them to think I was crazy, but now
you could care
let
less.
the cray-cray fly.
Yeah. Because everybody's got, by the way, everybody's got it on their own mirror at home, probably. Yeah. Right.
Right, exactly. So
Mm-hmm.
anyway, what do you say we celebrate and celebrate faith with a wonderful tip of our show? And hopefully it will help us develop more faith. I'm hoping, Susan.
Well, okay. So let me give you a little bit of a preamble here. We use the word faith as sort of a good concept, right? Like you have faith in people, like they're going to do the right thing all the time. But that doesn't always happen. So I gave these gifts out to my single girlfriends recently, and they're called glass condoms. So if you are at a bar, okay, and you're having your blind faith drink, as you and I are right now, you put on this. Look, it's the My Cup condom. And then you could go to the bathroom and not worry about getting, stuff put in your drink.
Getting your drink hijacked.
Yeah. What's that called? Roofie or Ralphie or something.
This, it's like a,
It's very
instead of
practical.
saran wrap on the top of the cup, you've
Right.
just got a plastic cup condom on your glass, and it fits a myriad.
And then
Of
you can have the
cups.
faith that you go to the bathroom and come back and your drink is going to be okay.
Right, exactly, because if your cup condom has been moved or altered, you will know.
You will know.
Susan never knew anything like that existed.
I know. You stick with me, you learn things. Right? That's the tip of the
Well,
day.
you know what? So you'll have more faith that you can come back to your drink.
That's what I'm saying.
And it will be unaltered.
That's
Excellent.
exactly right.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. Well, in closing, along with Susan's cup condoms, I want all of us to remember that we get to choose to have faith. It's not going to leave us unless we choose negative thoughts or we choose negative thinking. All of this is in our control. So let's choose faith as we rise to the top together, stay at the top together, and dream bigger than we've ever imagined. And that's a faith-filled wrap.
Yay!
Woo! We thank you for listening and hope you enjoyed this podcast. If you did, please share this show with friends and family and subscribe to our YouTube channel. This way, you'll never miss weekly drops. Stay strong, dream big, and floss your teeth.